Good to speak to you. So, Rabbi, you've been speaking about me on your Torah lectures a little bit. You've seen that I've been speaking about you on stream. I think that you're a breath of fresh air because at least you are honest about what you believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And apparently you're getting more messages from Muslims, and you condemn idol worshippers and you support the state of Israel and seem to have a lot of...
It's all your fault. Because of you, I cannot work anymore with Jews. All day I get the emails from Muslims that wants to convert, and they want to, they thank me for opening their eyes. You're bringing me a lot of fans. I don't know. I mean, what's the point here?
Yeah.
People that are honest, they hear the truth. And people that are honest, they hear the truth, and they're beginning to have second thought.
Okay, so would you prefer that people convert to Judaism or that they follow the Noahide laws? Because I know that there's a distinction. When I run into the Jews spreading, Judaism in public, it seems like they want the Goyim to follow the 7 Noahide laws.
Absolutely. The Goyim have to follow their purpose, which is to keep the 7 laws of Noah. They can be righteous Gentiles. They go to heaven when they die. They have no obligation to become Jewish. It's not easy to be a Jew. There's a lot of commandments to follow, and the lifestyle is very strict. And if the Gentile doesn't have an obligation, why putting him through that? So that's basically the general rule. But, some Gentiles it's not enough for them. They insist, they push, they want to convert to Judaism. If that's the case, then I help them to convert. But the first priority is to push them to fulfill their mission in life, which is to be righteous, good people, Gentiles, followers of God, believe in one God, no fake religions. There are thousands of fake religions and cults that came after Judaism, not just Islam and Christianity, Buddhism and Hinduism. There's thousands of others. All of them are fake. None of them has anything to do with God. And the Gentiles, all they have to do is just to keep the 7 laws. They can Google it. It's very easy. Most Gentiles keep about 5 or 6 of them as it is already. They have to make some adjustment, and they'll be righteous Gentiles. As long as they're not racist, anti-Semites, that they don't hate people because of their race, because of their color, because of their nationality. So they are decent people. They keep everything that is required by human logic, besides the 7 laws. They are considered righteous Gentiles, and the Talmud speaks very highly about those Gentiles, very highly.
Okay, but what is the separation between, you said that Islam is a false religion, but under Islam, that does follow the Noahide laws, being a good person, not stealing, and not worshiping idols. This is Islamic belief.
Okay, first of all, you should know there are a lot of attempts to imitate Judaism. Islam is actually one of the better ones. There's other imitations that are very, very bad. Islam, they copy many of the laws of Judaism, like they don't eat pork, they don't charge interest from each other, they want to help the poor. Their wives are more modest, they pray 5 times a day, they wash their hands. They copy many of the things that the Jews do. Remember, Judaism is 2,000 years before Islam started. Judaism, it was the only main religion all over the world. It's before Buddhism, it's before Islam, it's before Christianity. It's 2,000 years before Islam, and it's 1,300 years before Christianity. Buddhism, for instance, Buddha was 2,400 years ago. So Judaism is 900 years before Buddha. Everyone adopted some of the concept of Judaism. For instance, Islam, they are not idol worshippers. They believe in one God. They decided that Muhammad is the prophet. We disagree with that. I have 1,000 proof for you that Muhammad is not a prophet. He didn't even know how to read and write. And prophecy stopped already 900 years before he was born. God said to the Jews that after the destruction of the Second Temple, there will be no more prophecies. And the last prophet was Malachi, which was roughly around 2,200 years ago. And Muhammad is roughly around 1,300 years ago. So it cannot be that after 900 years that there was no prophet nowhere in the world, all of a sudden a non-Jew that doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to write, all of a sudden will become a prophet. And of course, when you begin to analyze the Quran, I can show you hundreds of human errors, but there is no doubt that it has nothing to do with God. It's not the religion of God. However, However, if you ask my opinion, who I would like to be my friends and my neighbors, a Muslim that follow the Quran and some of the things they copy from Judaism, or a liberal atheist Jew that is anti-God, pro-abomination, and all kinds of liberal things that is against God, I would definitely, with no hesitation, would rather be friends with Arabs who follow Quran and follow some of the morality of the Torah, even though it comes from the Quran. They're not aware of the Torah. They don't know Quran copy from the Torah. But I would rather have friends and neighbors that are Arab, that are modest, that believe in one God and hate abomination and all kinds of good things that you find among Muslims than to be with liberal Jews. Because by me, it's either righteous or wicked. I don't care if you're Jewish or if you're Gentile. I love all people. I love righteous people, and I don't want anything to do with wicked people. Why? Because God told us in the Torah to stay away from wicked people. You understand? Idol worshipers, all kinds of abomination people, thieves, murderers, all kinds of bad things that people do. These kind of people, you don't want your children to be affiliated with them. You don't want your neighbors. You got to stay away from wicked and evil people. You understand? So remember, there's no racism here. You can be a righteous Gentile that goes to heaven and is better in the eyes of God than a wicked Jew. Remember, there's no discrimination.
So it sounds like you would rather be neighbors with a Muslim than Benjamin Netanyahu.
Absolutely. He's not a righteous Jew. He's not keeping the laws of the Torah.
So
he's a secular person.
Like the majority of Israelis, they are secular. Tel Aviv, they pride themselves in being the gayest city in the world. So
Absolutely.
Why support this state if it's dominated by idol worshippers and deviants instead of Muslims?
Okay, you've been listening.
A lot of them don't know any better. They're ignorant. They're brainwashed.
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to understand. It's true. You're listening to my lectures, and I've been speaking about people that have zero connection to religion. They are not aware of God. Some of them are atheists. Some of them are very wicked people. But you have to also remember there is an expression in Judaism. It's called a baby that was kidnapped while he was baby, and he doesn't even know he's a Jew. How will he be able to keep and follow the Torah if he never opened it once in his life? So these ignorant people, not all of them are wicked or evil. They just have no idea. It's just like you take an Arab and you let him live among non-Muslims in some country, I don't know, in Australia or New Zealand. He never heard once in his life about the laws of Islam. And then you tell him, oh, you're a wicked Muslim. How come you're not following the Quran? He will tell you, I have no idea what the Quran is. How do you judge me when they were raised me like a non-Muslim and I have no idea what Islam is? So the same thing, 70% of the Jews in Israel, they are falling into this category. They were raised with no religion. They didn't go to yeshiva. They never learned Torah. They never opened the Talmud. They never learned Maimonides. They don't know the Jewish book of law. They raised them like non-Jews, like atheists. You understand? So for them, obviously, as you can see, many of them hate the religion. They hate all the religions. They don't just hate Islam. They hate Judaism. They hate many other, anybody that is religious, they hate. You understand? So this is just to be, we don't have all now.
Rabbi, you're cutting out. We can't hear you.
He's getting a lot of texts. I think Mossad's hitting him up. His phone's blowing up right now. His phone's blowing up. There you go.
Yeah, his wife.
Aaron, that's got to be a Mossad attack, correct?
Bro, I don't know why you're so obsessed with Mossad and this.
It could be a pager phone.
Listen, he's gonna join back.
Okay.
But he's not trying to say it. But he's not trying to say that everyone's like that. He's just saying people are ignorant. They don't know any better. You can't blame people.
The majority of Israelis, he says, and the prime minister.
Unfortunately, the majority of Jews don't even know. They don't know any better. Yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
Even non-Jews don't know. Even non-Jews. I don't think non-Jews are trying to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So you were saying
I have great Wi-Fi, so I don't know why I lost you. Okay, go. You have any more questions?
Other thing out because it's messing up the camera, the video. The other. You see that? His other.
What?
You're on
it's
two.
Okay. It's no problem. I mean, maybe, Rabbi, if you could turn your phone sideways, is there any chance you know how to turn your phone?
Okay, 1 second. Let's
Just to
try
turn
to
off the
do
screen
that.
rotation. I don't think his screen rotation is unlocked. Oh, there you go.
Okay. It's better now?
Looks better, yeah. There's another one. It's fine. He's not going to be able to figure it out. So the majority of Israelis don't follow the Torah. You're supporting
Right.
a state because you support Israel. You're supporting a state with wickedness, and you're supporting a state with majority of people you disagree with. How do you justify this?
No, you have to know to separate between politics and religion. I am a religious teacher. I teach religion. I teach the word of God. The Holy Land belongs to the Jewish people. Even according to the Quran, I can show you like 10 different sources in the Quran that Israel belongs to the Jews. And
as
I can
long as they
also
obey the commandments. If they could obey
it's again, the only one who decides if the Jews would live in Israel or they'll go to exile is God. It's not decided by people like me and you, or nations, or presidents, not Trump, and not the Arab leaders, and not Netanyahu. We have no say. The ones, it's written in the Torah, when I would like you to live in a land, I will bring you to the land. If I want to kick you out of the land, I will kick you out of the land. I gave you the land because I made a covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will never replace their children with any other nation. And as results of that, I'm obligated to keep my word. But you have to remember one thing. The Jewish people were punished throughout history many, many times because of their sin. The first temple was destroyed, and then the second one, and they went to exile, and there was Holocaust and pogroms and all kinds of problems. But the Torah says, although I'm going to punish you severely for your sins, for not keeping the covenant fully and faithfully, I still obligated to keep my promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will never replace you with any other nation. As much as I'm going to be disgusted from your behavior, I'm still not going to replace you with any other nation. Now, when we live in a holy land, the ideal situation would be that all Jews would be religious and learn the Torah and be decent people, and there will be no lefty liberal and no haters of God and no gays and none of those things that it's against the Torah. But unfortunately, we're not in this situation. But soon, we are very close to days of Messiah. It's called Consider the End of Days. As a matter of fact, this week my film about the end of days will come out, which applies to Jews and Gentiles, based on all the prophecies of all the prophets that all religions believe in, not just Judaism. Islam and Christianity follow Jeremiah and Isaiah and Joel and Amos and all those prophets. They're holy in all religions, and based on their words, it's going to be now days of Messiah. The world will be purified. Only righteous Jews and righteous Gentiles will remain. The world would be clean. There will be no evil, no more war. Everyone will know who is the only God and what is the only religion. There will be no more debates about it. It will be very clear to all people who is it's written by the words of the prophet, and at that day there will be one God with one name. There will not be many, many names to God and many faiths. Everything will be clear. Now, if a Gentile is righteous and keeping the 7 laws of Noah, and it's not a racist, it's not a Nazi, or not, following abomination or idols, then he will remain, he will survive, and also there will be resurrection of the dead for Jews and Gentiles.
Okay.
Only righteous Jews and only righteous Gentiles. No wicked Jews and no wicked Gentiles will resurrect, and they will not have the merit to live in times of Messiah. Okay. This is all words of the prophets, as we all know. They're written in the Tanakh, in the Bible, and soon it's going to happen. We're very close for these days. There are many, many unbelievable things are happening now and will happen in the world. But, this is a whole different topic. I don't want to diverse the conversation.
But you're saying
can you fix your camera too close to your face? Can you push it back a little bit?
It looks great. It looks great. So you're saying that for the Goyim to go to heaven, they need to follow the Noahide laws and they can't be racist. But you're also saying that the Holy Land is promised to the nation, even though the nation of Israel is predominantly secular liberal Jews. So
Okay, you have to
why,
remember that there are 2
why,
million righteous Jews living in Israel, very religious people. And by the way, they are being attacked by Arabs and Muslims that murders them on a weekly basis, killing them in bathtubs.
Israel just betrayed the ceasefire and is bombing Gaza right now. They've killed far more civilians than anybody on the other side has. You're saying don't be racist, but why would God prefer a nation that's not following the laws?
Okay, so let me explain to you something. You seems to me there is some honesty in you. How much I don't know, because I don't know you that much, but I believe that you're searching for the truth. Let's start from day one. There's no such thing Palestinians. Enough with this scam. There's no such thing. You know what the
No
word
such thing as the
Palestinian?
United States in the Bible. There's no mention of
No,
Spain. There's no
no. I'm
mention
not
of other
talking about the
nations.
Bible. I'm not talking about the Bible. In 1964, Yasser Arafat formed the PLO, Palestinian Liberation, and the word Palestine comes from the Romans. 2,000 years ago, the Romans came to Israel, they destroyed the Second Temple, and to insult the Jews, they named Israel Palestine, after the Philistines. Philistines have nothing to do with Arabs. There was no Islam. The Arabs are not Philistines. Philistines were a nation that Samson the prophet were fighting, and they lived in Gaza. So the Romans called Israel Palestine, and the British, when they occupied Israel after the Ottoman Empire, they also named Israel Palestina. And the Arabs that lived in Gaza and Judea and all these places were under Egyptian control and Jordanian control. There is no state of Palestinians. They never had a representative in the United Nations. They never had an army. They never had a president. They don't have one history book. It's a bunch of Arabs, Iraqis.
They have passports. They have a Palestinian passport.
But I'm also Palestinian. My grandfather lived in Palestine, and in his passport it said Palestinian. It's named after the Romans calling Israel Palestine. It's nothing to do with Arabs. Yasser Arafat was from Kuwait. He is not Palestinian. There's no such thing Palestinian. Enough with this scam. People have such ignorance, and they messed up the entire history. There is no such thing Palestinians. There are regular Arabs from Jordan and Egypt and from Iraq and from Kuwait and from many Arab countries who lived over there under Egyptian controls, who used to torture them daily. After the 6-day war, Israel occupied Gaza and gave them freedom. And even a few years ago, we gave them back the entire Gaza and Gush Katif. We destroyed synagogue. We moved tens of thousands of Jews out of their home. We gave it to the Arabs over there, hoping to make peace with them. And right after that, they started to shoot missiles at our civilians and killing people daily. Would you like your kids to have missiles falling on their head in the middle of the night every hour and sirens everywhere? Believe me.
Well, absolutely not. But Israel's saying now, they say kill them first. This is Netanyahu's new doctrine for Israel. Ben-Gvir, the Minister of National Security, just said 1 Israeli tear is equivalent to 1,000 Lebanese tears. 30% of the civilians that have been killed since October 7th.
But you're forgetting the right order. If the so-called Palestinians or the Arabs, first of all, 99.8% in the Middle East belongs to Arabs. There is 0.2% belongs to the Jews. What is this greed? You have 99.8% of the Middle East, it's all owned by Arabs. There is a tiny Israel, smaller than New Jersey, place for the Jews. There are about 8 million Jews living there, or 9 million Jews. They need a place after the Holocaust to live.
Well, they don't just want that. You have they have the new minister saying that they want to expand it to the West Bank. They want to bring millions of Jews there. Why else would you go into Lebanon? Do you want to continue going?
It's only for security reasons, because you saw what happened in October 7. The lefty liberal Jews of those kibbutz were helping the Arabs, bringing them into doctors, helping them, giving them jobs. And the first one they slaughter is those liberal lefty Jews who love them so much. You see, they didn't attack the righties. They didn't attack the
funded by Netanyahu, gave him $35 million to Hamas through Qatar. He was the one funding what you call a terrorist proxy. There's one more claim you made. If you're saying that Palestine is not a state because the Romans were trying to humiliate the Jews, the same logic could be applied in 1948, or if you look at the agreement between the Rothschilds and the United Kingdom. This land was declared a state by the British. So why is that logic not applied for the current state of Israel if you're not going to use this logic for the Roman Empire calling it the state of Palestine?
Remember, this land can be only called Israel. Any other name you'll call it Palestina, Palestine, it's all nonsense. This is the land of God, and it's written in the Torah. This is the land that the eyes of your God is on it 24/7, all year around. The eyes of your God is on that land, and that land was given to the Jewish people. Now, the Arabs, which try to call themselves now Palestinians, they are from different countries. Every one of them can go back to where they came from. They have Egypt.
Well, aren't you
Jordan.
Moroccan? Your name is Mizrachi. This is Moroccan. Netanyahu is Polish descent. All these people come from Russia, Hungary. What's the difference?
Okay, again, we return to our homeland. This King David were there already 3,000 years ago, and King Solomon and all the prophets, many of them lived over there. This is our father's land.
The Holy Land promised to righteous
if you kick me out of my house, if you kick me out of my house and you live there for 3-4 months, and then I come back and push you out by force, now you want it back? It was mine all along.
Right. You said the land of God, the Holy Land, but you're also saying that it's filled with secular liberal Jews who are not following anything righteous at all.
You said they don't know any better. You said they don't know any better. A lot of them are brainwashed.
But SNEAKO, I explained to you, a lot of those Jews have no idea what religion is. They never heard about religion.
So it's a religious ethno-state that's not based on religion?
No, let me explain to you something. You know, a lot of these Jews came from Russia and Poland, which communism were dominant. Communism is anti-religion. They hate Islam, they hate Christianity, they hate Judaism, they hate God, they hate religion. Communism means anti-God. They came from those countries after the Holocaust into Israel, 1917, and started to settle all the lands. There was all swamps there. For 2,000 years, nobody could grow anything there. Since the destruction of the Second Temple, there is a verse in the Torah, no one of the nations will be able to revive the land of Israel. Only when the children of God will return to the land, they will revive the land. And that's exactly what happened. In 1900, Mark Twain, the famous author, was in Israel, and he wrote in his diary, I went all the way from the south to the north of Israel. I could not find one tree, not one tree, even olive trees that grows on rocks and don't need any special condition. I could not find. We see the anger of God on the land. And when the Jews returned to the land, everything shortly after became paradise. It's one of the nicest countries in the world. Once we gave a piece of Israel back to the Egyptian after the peace agreement, we gave them all Sinai. I can show you satellite pictures. Before the agreement, everything was green and beautiful. Once it went to the hands of the Egyptian, everything turned into desert. I can show you satellite pictures. The land of Israel can only cooperate with the children of God, the chosen people.
Great. Okay, great.
It was not meant for anybody else. The Arabs have half of the world. The Americans, the Europeans, they have the entire world for themselves. The Israel have a tiny state. It's either that or they'll all be dead. So
well, obviously they want to continue expanding. Netanyahu says he wants to take over 100% of Gaza. It's now about 60%. They want to go to 70%.
And ask yourself why. Come on, be honest. Why? Israel ever wanted? Israel gave them Gaza in the agreement, and right away they started to shoot missiles. And you saw in October.
Well, there's a ceasefire right now. You're seeing October 7th. You're seeing who's betraying the ceasefire right now. Yesterday, they continued to bomb Gaza Strip. And you didn't answer the question earlier where I'm asking, where you said that racism should not be followed by any of the goyim if they want to go to heaven. But if God isn't racist, because he seems like he's preferring this nation, the chosen people, even if they don't follow the laws. So what's the priority for God, according to you, is not the fact that they're righteous, but the fact that they're Jews. How is this not preference? How is this not racist?
Very simple. If you have two kids, one righteous and one wicked, and then you have a stranger somewhere across the street, you don't have anything to do with him. He's a stranger, and he's a righteous stranger. Who would you prefer? Your son that is not good, or the stranger that is good? You have a son. You have an obligation.
You're applying the logic of God. You're applying the logic of God to people, right? We are all God's children. None of us are preferred.
Absolutely. But the Jewish people, it's written in the Torah, you are my children. I'm quoting you verses in the Torah. If you want, I can send you the sources and the verses, what chapters they are. You can follow it yourself in English. So it's written like this. You are holy because I'm holy. You have to follow those holy laws. You are my children. I chose you from all the nations to be my children. I do not give you permission to be like the Gentiles. You are different than the rest of the world. You have no permission to marry them. You have no permission to use their names. You have no permission to follow their culture. You are my children, and you have to follow the covenant that I made with you. And I have to remember, the Jewish people are the only people in the world that the entire nation, millions of people, stood in Mount Sinai and heard the voice of God giving them the 10 Commandments and the
True.
Torah. It
True.
never happened to any other nation.
Right.
God called himself the God of Israel, not the God of Philistines or the God of United States or the God of France. It's the God of Israel. So it's very obvious. I can show you hundreds of
the message
sources.
of God. I know this. I know these verses. This is supposed to be for all mankind. But you're essentially saying God's racist if he prefers one nation above others, and only one are chosen.
No, but you have to understand, when you make a covenant, it works both ways. You and I, you have a much easier life. If you be a righteous Gentile and you keep the 7 laws, which I'm sure some of them you already keep, and you one day go to heaven. I have to work 100 times harder than you to make it to heaven. My punishments are much worse than you because I have much bigger responsibilities and obligations. I work both ways. You don't
even believe that the heaven's equal. You believe in Goyim heaven, which is separate. Are we going to be in the same heaven if we follow Noahide
different heavens? But I wish all the Jews that are not religious to go to the heavens of the Gentiles. Do you know what it means, a divine heaven of Gentiles? Those wicked Jews can dream to go to such a place, because right now they have no share to the world to come. Everyone who desecrates the Sabbath, everyone that is a homosexual, everyone that is a murderer, there's a list of things that people lose their share to the world to come. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Muslims, right? Many Muslims, they're modest, they're not thieves, they believe in one God, they believe in the prophets, they believe in, a lot of many good things. They're anti-abomination. They have a lot of good values that they learned from the Jewish people after the Torah was given 2,000 years before Islam started. But they have one issue. Many of them support murder, terror, murdering people, killing Christians, killing Jews, killing Buddhists, killing all kinds of people. If a Muslim is not,
that's against the Quran. That's not true.
Oh, but it's reality. Almost all the terror in the world come from Muslims. Almost
the number
everything.
one terrorist state is Israel. If they are now openly admitted from the UN, they're committing a genocide.
The UN who hates Jews. And by the way, that's
the UN's Nazis. The UN's not.
First of all, self-defense is not terrorism. Yeah. What happened? Who started this war? October 7. If
the Nakba, 1948, did not start October 7.
There's no such thing, Nakba. Again, you're coming back to the same scam. This land was never yours. How can you claim that something is yours when it was never yours? You're going against God? What kind of a follower of God you are? You're supposed to be a follower of the Quran. You want me to start reading?
It's promised to righteous people. It's promised to people that are following the commandments, not worshiping a cow, not worshiping.
So why you kill these righteous people in the bus stops of Jerusalem? You run with cars into the religious Hasidic Jews who dedicate their life to the Torah and to the religion, and you murder them. Almost all the victims of murders in Israel by Arabs are religious Jews. They target the religious Jews. So enough with this lie.
They were living peacefully. They were coexisting. This is from most rabbis. If
one of the religious Muslim would come and say, our enemies are the wicked Jews, the communists, the liberals, not the religious Jews. The religious Jews are holy according to our Quran, according to our faith. No one is allowed to touch them. Then I will have a lot more respect to this tradition of Quran. But since we both know that that's not the case, and they want to kill all Jews, they want to kill all Jews, and
where does that say that in Islam?
The reality. You want to look at how many people were murdered in Israel since October 7th? Or in Jerusalem, in every terror attack, they kill only religious people.
Well, Israel was the state that bombed a synagogue in Iran.
That's not true. How do you know it?
There's video evidence. This has been proven by.
So what are you saying? So you're saying Israel intentionally wanted to bomb a synagogue? This is what you believe in?
They didn't accidentally do it. And of course, if they're living peacefully in Iran, if you're saying Muslims want to kill all Jews, why would a synagogue that's been there before the state of Israel have existed there. The ones that got rid of it was the state of Israel, not the
Listen,
Iranians.
in the Quran, it says, if you have any doubt about this book, go to the Jews who got the Torah before you. I can give you the source. I have it right here on my screen. In what surah is this? Go to the Jews and ask them what to do. Every doubt you have in Islam, in the Quran, you have to come to the Jews to explain to you based on the Torah what to do. Now, Jerusalem is not mentioned in the Quran, not even once. It mentioned almost 700 times in the Bible, in the Jewish Bible. Now once, and not the word Palestine. There's no such thing in the Quran. Remember, the Romans called Israel Palestine 2,000 years ago. Islam is 1,300 years. That means 700 years. Everyone knew that the Romans are naming Israel Palestine, and there's not one word about it in the Quran. How can you let people
Jerusalem
fool
is
you
mentioned
like
in the
this?
Quran about the mosque that's the distance away, the furthest mosque, because this was the original Kaaba, was
It doesn't say it
Jerusalem.
directly.
It was moved to Mecca. It doesn't say it by name, but it's referenced that this is the third holy site in the Quran, versus saying that this is our holy
Now,
mosque.
since the Quran said to go to the Torah and check in case you have a doubt, well, let me educate you. In the Torah, it says anyone who comes to kill you, kill him first. It's not Christianity. If someone smack you on one side of your cheek, give him the other cheek.
So how is that not terrorism? If you believe in killing children because they're going to grow up to be terrorists, how is this not terrorism specifically?
First of all,
you believe in killing Muslims first?
First of all, nobody target children. This is another scam.
This is admitted by the UN now.
Nobody target children. Never.
Anti-Semites to make your
Nobody target. I can show you hundreds of proofs that nobody has any intention to hurt any civilians.
The UN report shows that an IDF sniper hit a child while she was breastfeeding from her
UN
mother.
is the most anti-Semite organization in the world. You're giving me examples. Next thing you're gonna bring me some words of Adolf Hitler as a proof. Come on. UN is a bunch of anti-Semite, anti-Israel,
It took them 3 years. If they're so anti-Semitic, why did it take them 3 years to admit to genocide?
The sponsor of terrorism in the world in the last 50 years is Iran. Did you ever see the UN mentioning Iran? Syria killed 500,000 Arabs. Assad killed 500,000 of your brothers. I don't see it bothers you so much.
That's incorrect. But if you're saying that Iran funds terrorist proxies, then you have to condemn Israel because Netanyahu gave $35 million to Hamas.
First of all, you don't understand politics. Netanyahu had no choice. The choice was to keep them quiet. Qatar sent them money. Netanyahu received the suitcases with the cash and has to give it to them in order for them to have jobs, that people over there don't get bitter and don't go into terrorism. Today, they admit that it was a mistake. If it was up to me, I would never agree to be a broker between Qatar and such a Nazi organization, Hamas. Now, I want you to know, you keep saying innocent, innocent. You can go on YouTube and see some American guy going in between Gaza and civilians and ask every one of them about October 7, children, women, what you call innocent people. Now, one of them condemned the genocide that they committed against Israeli citizens who helped them, liberal lefties, pro-Arab, pro-Hamas. They are traitors against their own nation. The people that they murder were people that were anti-Judaism, anti-religion, like Bernie Sanders style. That's who they murder. They took them to hospital.
So why do you have the Hannibal Directive? Why is there military doctrine within Israel to allow these attacks to happen if it benefits your political goals? You have doctrine called the Hannibal Directive that allows innocents to be killed.
Come on, look at me in the eyes and tell me, do you really believe that any government in the world, Israel, United States, European and Arab country, any country in the world, would want a terror organization to come with 5,000 murderers and start killing children and women and shooting them and raping them and put babies in a microwave?
Absolutely. The same state that killed innocent Jews in a synagogue in Iran, responsible for having the Hannibal Directive to allow their citizens to be killed.
First of all, it wasn't proven that...
For one terrorist, we give for one Jew, we give thousands of terrorists. What the heck are you saying, bro? You're tripping. You're tripping. What are you saying? You're just pulling out random stuff. What are you saying?
For one Israeli prisoner that you kidnapped, Gilad Shalit, we release 1,027 mass murderers from Israeli jails. This is the difference between one Israeli to 1,027 what you call Palestinians. You yourself define the difference between the Jews and the Arabs by saying that one Jew equal more than 1,000 Arabs in Gaza. You made this equation. And
This
then
is
you
Ben
come and
Gvir.
say
I'm
that
not
we are
making this.
racist.
I don't believe that 1,000 lives is equivalent to one. But the Minister of National Security, he said so and doubled down. He believes that 1,000 Lebanese tears is equivalent to one Israeli tear. This is not a just religion. This is not a just ideology.
Do you know the difference between Jews and all the other nations? If one Jew is a hostage, then everyone in a country does not rest until he comes back home. In other places, he's forgotten. After a month or two, people forget about it. I actually saw Arab leaders speaking in YouTube, some of the clips, and they say we have to learn from the Jews how they never leave anybody behind.
That's not true. Israelis were protesting Netanyahu because they thought that he wasn't doing enough to get the hostages released. Every time there were Hamas negotiators, the buildings were bombed. Israel continued to kill the negotiators.
In the end, the one that made the decision to release thousands of terrorists from jail was Netanyahu, no? So he did the right thing. He released 1,000 to get 30 or 40 hostages. So in the end, no matter how you look at it, you yourself, based on your own request, saying that the life of one Israeli is worth more than 1,000 Arabs.
This is not my claim. This is not my claim. Do you believe
That's
this?
The claim of the Arab, not this, you. The claim of the Arab.
This is Ben Gvir, your Minister of National Security. Do you?
I have to tell you something. I
haven't answered. Do you agree with the statement?
First of all, let me explain to you something. I'm not a politician, and last thing I care about is politics. I teach religion. Now, it bothers me very much that people like you and other people that follow you have zero knowledge in the religion of God, the real one, and they bring all kinds of little things that I heard here and there on YouTube.
This is not a religious question. This is a political question. I'm asking if you agree with Ben Gvir.
About what?
About one Israeli tear being equivalent to 1,000 Lebanese tears.
And he didn't talk about Lebanese. He talked about Hezbollah. Don't twist his words.
No, he said no. I'm not twisting his words. The translation specifically. He said all of. He said all of. Not Hezbollah. He said all of Lebanon must burn.
Lebanese. He means Hezbollah. We have no problem with the people of Lebanon. The people of Lebanon are hostages in the end of the Hezbollah in Iran. I can show you Lebanese leaders that wants to get. They kicked the ambassador of Iran from Iran, and he doesn't want to leave. Iran owned Lebanon for 50 years. They activate this Hezbollah Nazi organization to shoot missiles in Israeli citizens, and the ones that suffer the most are the Lebanese. They destroyed Lebanon. Everybody runs out of Lebanon. The Israelis and the Lebanese are both victims of Iran and Hezbollah. You understand? Also, the Palestinians of Gaza are victims of Hamas and jihad.
Who created Hezbollah?
Who created Hezbollah? Not the Jewish people.
Oh, then who? Because 1982, Israeli staged an illegal invasion of Lebanon. Hezbollah was created to kick them out, to kick out the foreign invaders. And in 2000, they ended up kicking them out. It's Israelis' fault. It's your fault. Your state's fault.
Hezbollah, it's Iran. The same thing like the Houthis is Iran, the same thing Hamas is Iran, and the Jihad is Iran, and many other terror organizations is Iran. Iran and Qatar are sponsoring all the murders of thousands and thousands of innocent people, mainly Jews, but also others.
That's not the case. And just like Netanyahu, Iran was funding these proxies, but this was created to kick out the Israelis who invaded their land. Has nothing to do. Iran did not create Hezbollah. Israel did this invasion in 1982.
Even before 1948.
No Google.
Tell me, before 1948, when there was no state of Israel declared yet, in Hebron, they murdered many, many Jews, and there was no Zionists. They were all religious Jews, and the Arabs came and murdered all of them, just because of anti-Semitism.
Before 1948, they were already coming in after 1917, after World War I. They had already caused settlements. They had already started moving in.
But there was no state
before
there.
the state was created.
There's no state.
They were moving in. They were moving in before the state.
Listen, Jews and Arabs lived there together. There was no state of Israel, so there was no Zionism.
This is not the Jews that were already living there. This is from the Jews that were moving in.
No, but they killed the people of Hebron before the communists arrived to Israel. This
And
is
under
very,
Ottoman
very
rule,
old.
under Ottoman rule, this is not true. They were coexisting and they were protected. In fact, Rabbi, do you know who brought the Jews back into Jerusalem after the temple was destroyed? What religion was responsible for bringing the Jews back into the Holy Land?
What
Islam.
religion?
Islam.
How?
When the
How?
Caliphate came and conquered Jerusalem, they asked 80 families of the revert Jews who came to Islam and said, bring the Jews back in because this is their Holy Land. How has that been received?
What year
How is
was that? What year was that?
This is when the Caliphate came in.
What year?
This was in 1400, almost 1300 years ago,
Okay,
after
so
the
now,
Prophet Muhammad.
so your ears should listen to what your mouth is saying. You say that the Muslims called the Jews come back to your land, and now you're
Yes.
denying that the land belongs to the Jews. So you have to make up your mind. You
Well, it's
contradict
clear.
me.
You're saying that they want to kill all Jews, but Islam is responsible for letting the Jews coexist. This is
Yes,
part of our
but-
most important part of history, allowing
but-
the Jews to return to what they believe is the Holy Land, to coexist. In fact, we call Jews the people of the book. We call Christians the people of the book. We respect and we want people to be able to practice their religion.
We also want to coexist. What do you mean?
But
You're
but
telling
I
me
There's no
want-
indication.
in Israel?
There's no indication. No, not
course there-
according
what are
to,
you
no,
talking about?
that's not true.
How
He
many
just said
Arabs
Muslims
live in
want to kill
Israel
all
are
Jews.
doctors, lawyers,
Tell me,
He just said, Rabbi just said that Muslims
let
want
me
to kill
ask
all
you a
Jews.
question.
No,
Are you
he didn't
against
say
the
all
state of
Muslims. Rabbi,
wait, one
he didn't say
second.
all Muslims.
Aaron, one second. Are you against the state of Israel or are you against all Jews in the world?
I'm against the state of Israel.
Oh,
So
why
why
are
you
you saying
sit
Hail Hitler?
with the Nazi, famous Nazi, and kissed up to him in a clip that someone sent me? You sitting and saying Heil Hitler if you're not an anti-Semite.
On the bus.
Yeah, well, I'm not a Nazi. First off, I'm not white. I don't believe that the Nazis were doing good things. They committed atrocities. But we're hearing rhetoric from people where they say all of Lebanon must burn. And then I get banned from people on the Epstein list. They tell me I can't go to a club. I have free speech in America.
But let me ask you a question. What normal person that claims is not anti-Semite would say the word Heil Hitler?
And put hands up like this in the air at a
Yeah.
club.
Well,
And
you know, in some countries you will go to jail for that. You know, in Germany, for instance, you will go to jail.
We have free speech in America.
Free speech. Free speech, yes, but it shows who you are. The free speech. The free speech reveals your real face.
You think I'm a Nazi? Well, I mean, look, the Nazis had the
Hail Hitler
argument.
and you clearly hate Jews.
Hold on. I don't claim I hate Jews. I love Jews.
So then
Hitler, hold on. Let me respond. He asked me a question.
Yeah.
Hitler was responsible for the Havar Agreement and allowed the passage of 70,000 exiled Jews to go into Palestine. Hitler was a Zionist. Hitler doesn't follow my ideology.
I don't understand why you keep saying Palestine when I just proved to you there's no such thing Palestine. It's a scam.
You haven't proved then the rest of the world is a scam too, because this is also not referenced in the original textbooks. Then the United States is a scam because it's not referenced in the Bible.
Everybody knows that the Romans named Israel Palestine has nothing to do with Arabs. Why you keep coming with the same political scam, calling the Arabs Palestinians?
Everybody knows the state of Israel is dominated by secular Jews.
Tell me, the Arabs have anything to do with the Philistines? The answer is no. So why you name yourself after another nation? Why all these lies and fakeness, non-stop lies in your world? Why can't you just stick to the truth?
The Semitic people. These are the people that have been living there for generations. You think that they're all...
He said Hail Hitler and he promotes the guy who wanted to kill all the Jews, and then he's saying he's not
anti-Semitic. No, the song, hold on. If you want to get offended about this, the song is Nigga Heil Hitler, which is ridiculous because niggas weren't heiling Hitler. This is a funny song.
Bro, you were clearly saying Hail Hitler with Nick.
No. I said, no, don't leave this out. Let's make it this historically accurate if we want to be real. It's Nigga Heil Hitler. Niggas weren't heiling Hitler. This is ridiculous and this is funny. This is a song about free speech. It's a song about cancel culture, about what destroys the ideas that we have of values of free speech.
I want to ask you another question, if you don't mind. You know, in Islam, they also adopted JC and Christianity. They give him credit as a real prophet. He's
the Messiah. He's the Messiah who will return.
Okay, if you will watch my debate with a Christian professor, then you have to be super foolish to waste another minute on Christianity after you watch my debate. And I already tell you that thousands of very religious Christians immediately left the Christian religion after they watched my debate with that professor. And he's teaching Christianity in a Christian University of Manhattan. Basically, after you watch this debate, you will see that in every page in the New Testament, there are ridiculous human errors.
I agree.
Okay, so now, how can Islam give credit to Christianity and to JC when
Yes, we did.
every
That's not
page
true.
in Christianity has human errors and has zero connection to God?
Great
That
question.
makes
The Messiah
that
either.
makes Islam also not valid.
That's
Because
that's
if
a bad
Islam was the
logical
religion of
conclusion.
God, they would not give credit to a book that every other line is a human error and has
Should I
nothing to do
respond?
with God.
Do you want me to respond? So
Yeah.
we
Also,
believe.
by the way,
in-
he's not a descendant
Hold
of Mashiach. He's not. Sorry, just to add on to this, he's not a descendant of the Messiah. He's not a descendant of King David, so he can't be Messiah because his father.
I already proved that
supposed
it has
to
nothing
die.
to do with the Messiah. He can never
His
be the
father is
Messiah
God. He's
because
not a
it's not
Same
from the
belief that
family of
David.
King
Look at
David.
Matthew
It's
chapter
from the
1,
tribe
verses
of
1 to
it comes from
16.
the lineage of Abraham, first off. Second, we don't give credit to
What?
Christianity. Rabbi, we both agreed that Paul the Apostle created Christianity. You say that they're idol worshipers, that Christians, Christmas is a scam, and you say that they're going to burn for eternity because they worship idols. We know that Paul the Apostle is responsible for the majority of Christianity, not Jesus himself. We believe Jesus is the Messiah because he is. We believe in his teachings in the gospel. The Bible and John, Mark, Luke, all this came afterwards. A lot of them, Paul, he never met Jesus. This guy
Okay,
on the road to Damascus, he was a Jew. He was a Jew, and he was persecuting early
allow me
Christians.
to reply. Allow me to reply.
I haven't fully responded because you asked me, why do I follow Christianity? And this is incorrect. We don't follow Christianity. We follow Jesus. We don't follow the Christian doctrine.
What's
We
your
don't follow
evidence he's
Paul.
Messiah?
We believe Jesus is the Messiah.
Allow me to reply in 2 minutes. You will see that what you say right now makes no sense. In my debate, I already started to show the genealogy from King David all the way to Joseph the carpenter, who married Mary, Joseph and Mary, and then JC was born. And the story in the first page of the New Testament is that Joseph the carpenter went away after he got married to Mary. They did not go into their house and became intimate yet. He came back after a few months and he saw that she's pregnant. And he asked her, what happened? I never touched you. How is it possible you're pregnant? And she told him, God came to me in a dream and made me pregnant. I'm still a virgin. And that's why they call her Virgin Mary.
Yes,
and
the
now,
Immaculate Conception. Exactly.
Okay, so now they describe I believe, over 30 names over there. You can see in my debate who gave birth to who, from King David all the way to Joseph the carpenter. And the cause of that is to prove that JC comes from the family of King David, because in the Torah, the Messiah is called Messiah, son of David. It must be from the genealogy of the family of King David and Solomon, his son. It has to be from that genealogy.
That's assuming that this has been preserved properly. That's assuming.
Okay. Now listen. So tell me, please, why would you describe so many generations from King David all the way to Joseph the carpenter? And right after that, you're right that Joseph the carpenter is not the father of JC. God is his father. God made her pregnant. Joseph is not the son. So why you wasted a page to link Joseph to King David when right after that you made such a ridiculous mistake saying that he has nothing to do with JC? He's not the father. It's not his sperm that created JC. He went out of town. When he came back, she was pregnant already. You see, the ridiculous mistakes that Christianity have, it's an insult to intelligence of a normal person. You sit with me for 1 hour, you will laugh about what you just told me.
Therefore, let me respond. You bring up one of the greatest scams too, and a great mistake is that Israel and the United States says that they're the greatest allies. They have so much in common, Judeo-Christian values, when in fact, Muslims, we believe in the Immaculate Conception. We believe in the Virgin Mary. The Jews, you believe that she was a liar. You believe that Jesus is burning in feces and excrement. Yet the Christians in America, people like Trump, Rubio, Hegseth, all these political leaders who claim to be Christian, ally with the state of Israel, who rejects Jesus, call him a liar and call the Immaculate Conception a scam. When in fact, Islam and Christianity have so much in common.
They know we have.
First of all, you're right. Islam and Judaism has much more in common than Christianity and Judaism.
Islam and Christianity have a lot more in common than Judaism too.
Yeah, and I'm sure you heard me that if the Arabs would just let the Jews live and stop dreaming about wiping them out from the face of the earth, we could have been the best friends, because we believe in many mutual values and we are cousins. The Arabs and the Jews,
yes, Ishmael and Isaac, we know. But
and if they would give us they would just leave us that little piece of land.
But how would you coexist
if they would leave us, they would leave us a little place, courtesy. Forget about God right now. Courtesy. Okay, you need a place to live. We'll leave you a state smaller than New Jersey, since we have 99.8% of the Middle East.
You're ignoring how I told you, it sounds like you didn't know about the historical facts that the Islamic Caliphate allowed the Jews to return.
I'm talking today. Why are you giving me something from 1,500 years ago?
This was one of the first examples.
Right now,
it rebukes your claim.
Listen,
It debunks your claim that Muslims want to kill Jews.
If the Arabs will put their weapon down and shut down all their organizations, there will be immediately peace and prosperity between the Jews and the Arabs. If the Jews would leave their weapon, they will be dead in 24 hours like October 7, and everybody knows it. Now, let me first go back to Christianity.
Before you go back to Christianity, hold on. There's one claim here. You keep saying that they should be able to coexist, that the Jews and Arabs are cousins, and I agree. But you cannot coexist.
By the way, just to let you
cannot coexist today if you believe that you're superior, which is clear from the Israeli leadership and clear from even what you're saying. If you believe Rabbi, hold on. If you believe you have your own place in heaven and that the Goyim have their own place that's separate and that's lower, you do not believe you're equal.
Right.
You believe you're superior.
Did you hear about Bilam?
You believe that you're the children of God and others are inferior.
I heard you. Did you hear about Bilam? Did you hear the name Bilam? Bilam in the Torah. No. Okay, so Bilam, in the time of Moses, the Gentiles in the world had a main prophet on the other side of Moses. His name was Bilam. There was a king named Balak. He hired Bilam to curse the Jewish nation because he had divine powers, the prophet of the Gentiles. And then God said to him, you can read it in the Torah, God said to him, I don't give you permission to curse the Jewish people. And as a result of that, he came to Balak, and instead of cursing the Jewish people, he started to bless them with all kinds of blessing. Inside the words of the biggest Gentile prophet ever lived, this is what's written. Don't say the Jews say that they are superior. The prophet of the Gentiles said that in the name of God. And this is his words. I'm going to say it to you in Hebrew, and I will translate it to you. This is what Bilam say. Tamut nafshi mot yesharim v'tihi achariti kamohu. Translation. I want to die like this righteous nation of the Jews, and I want my end to be like their end. Now, you and I know that Jews and Gentiles die the same way. Car accident, cancer, old age. There's no difference how Jews died and how Gentiles died. People die, and that's natural death. Now, in the words of the Gentile prophet, which I'm sure you never heard about his prophecy, but that's a good opportunity to educate your followers.
Which, Deuteronomy 18:18?
No, in Numbers. In Numbers, it's in the book of Numbers, the fourth book of Moses. You see over there, this is his words. Tamut nafshi mot yesharim, the nation of Israel called Yeshurun. I want to die like the Jews, and I want to go where the Jews are going. From here, we learn, it's a divine book, that Jews and Gentiles go to different heavens, but it's no discrimination, because every Gentile can convert to Judaism and is welcome. That we are not
try to. The only people that convert to Judaism are people like Ivanka Trump with tons of money who do the bidding of the Jews.
No, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to know that I already responsible for at least 2,000 Gentiles that converted to Judaism.
You're responsible, not God's responsible. This is another superiority.
And none of them has the status of Ivanka Trump. You know, so
not the status, but the fact that you say that you converted. Hold on. You said that you are responsible. In Islam and in Christianity, you could be saved by Jesus, the Christians believe. And in Islam, God judges if we are true Muslims. In rabbinical Judaism, you have to go to rabbi court. You have to follow it's a 2 to 7 year process. It takes a long time. And it's not God is not the judge. The
No. Wait.
Rabbis are the judge.
Nico, look, you're asking good question, but a lot of your question comes from partial ignorance, and that's why the question is not relevant. Let me explain to you something. In the book of Deuteronomy, in the chapter of Judges, this is what's written. If you're going to have any questions about my Torah and my laws, you have to come to the judges that will be in your days and ask them ask them what to do based on my Torah. Everything they will instruct you, you must listen to them. Do not move left or right from their instruction. If someone would disobey the judges, meaning those who know, the rabbis, God gave them an authority. What do you think? The rabbis made themselves something important without God?
Doesn't this sound like idol worship?
No, listen,
God said
listen,
it. Look at Deuteronomy. God said,
listen.
listen to the rabbi.
Today, when you want to know about Islam, who do you go to learn by? You go to the Imam, no?
Not
Is
as a
it
judge.
idol worshipping? If you ask the Imam what the Quran say,
Learning is not judging. Only
tell
God
me,
judges in Islam.
what's when the
SNEAKO.
Imam make a fatwa to kill someone or to let him leave? Is that an idol worshipping that you listen to the scholars of Islam? What are you talking about? Who are you gonna listen to? Ignorant people who never open the book?
Nope, you're not
SNEAKO,
supposed to
it
do this.
says
If
it
it's
in the
incorrect.
Torah. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 17. You'll see it there. Verses 8
All
to
right.
13.
So God told the people, if you have a question, you have to go to the Jewish court and ask the knowledgeable rabbis, meaning they learn all their life the Torah. They know the Torah from A to Z, from right to left, left to right, and they know everything. And they have to rule what to do, and you must listen to them. It should not be an anarchy that everyone will do according to what he understands because people are ignorant. If everyone will translate the Torah according to his understanding, it will be a mess. They have to go to the highest people in the world that learn it for 80, 90, 100 years, like the big rabbis in Israel today, all their life from morning to night, 18 hours a day, and they have to tell you what to do based on the rules. There are millions of rules.
It sounds like the rabbis are going to judge righteous goyim who want to convert rather than judging the Jews who claim to be Jew but know nothing about their faith.
No, they're not judging them. They're testing them to see. They're not judging.
Who judges who could be? Who judges if you could be a Jew?
They want to see sincerity. They want to see if the person is
doing it. Listen, if a Gentile comes and wants to be a Jew, if a Gentile comes and he wants to be a Jew and he has no knowledge how to keep the commandments, how to live in everyday life, you cannot accept him to be a Jew when he has no idea what to do. Come on, so it's not a joke.
So the rabbi judges.
So the rabbi are testing him. They test him. If he failed the test, he comes again after a month.
So they judge. So they judge his test.
So when you have a test in school, the teacher is a judge. He's testing you to know if you know math.
Absolutely.
He's a judge.
He's judging your abilities. He's judging
your knowledge.
Judge.
If it makes you happy to call the rabbi judges, fine. By the way, the Torah says that the Sanhedrin are 71 judges that follow the laws of the Torah. And in the old days when the temple existed, they were the only one who can rule also execution. Today, for 2,000 years, there's no execution. No one is getting executed, not Jews and not Gentiles, even wicked Gentiles, wicked Jews, idol worshippers, Jews that are worshiping idols, Gentiles that are worshiping idols. There's no death penalty. No death penalty for gays, no death penalty for desecrators of the Sabbath, no death penalty for idol worshippers, because there is no legitimate court today to execute for 2,000 years already. That's why some of the videos he put on me, it's misleading the people. I never say that Gentiles deserve to die. I just say that according to the world today, which has about 8 billion people, besides the Muslims, which are close to 2 billion, and they are not idol worshippers, almost everybody else are idol worshippers. Either they believe in Buddha, or they believe in JC, or they believe in all kinds of gods of the Hindus, or Jews that believe that their rabbi is God or is the Messiah. They are also idol worshippers. There's no discrimination. If a Jew believes that his rabbi never died and he runs the world, he's an idol worshipper. If a Christian believes that JC, a human being that could not even save his own life, and the Romans butchered him and he was crying for his life, he's going to save them, they live in some kind of illusion. This is all idol worshipping. In the 10 Commandments, it says you should not have any other God but me. And making another entity makes you an idol worshiper. But I cannot execute anyone. There's no rabbis in the world that can execute. There are no executions. There's no execution.
Okay, then why? Because you keep saying Islam is the newer religion that came 1,400 years ago. The rabbis in the Talmud, the Talmud is written, it was debates and conversations, debates between the rabbis and debates between the rabbis and God. And the rabbis ended up winning in some of these debates. If God is the almighty, the greatest, the only one we should worship, the creator, how could rabbis defeat him in a debate?
It wasn't defeating the debate.
No. Again, you see what's happening now? When you have partial knowledge, is more dangerous than not to have knowledge at all. You see, when you don't have the knowledge, you know not to say something about something you don't have any idea. When you have 20 or 30% knowledge, you jump to the wrong conclusion and you present your question like...
So is that incorrect? Did the rabbis not defeat God in a debate?
No. So let me explain to you what this Gemara talks about. The Gemara spoke about a group of rabbis who were arguing with Rabbi Eliezer about if these ovens become impure or not, if you put it back together. There's an argument. The rabbis, he started to perform all kinds of magics because he was such a high-level person. He said, if I'm right, this is going to be the law. If I'm right, this...
Rabbi, you're cutting out. We can't hear you. Hello?
He's cutting his Wi-Fi.
By the way,
got him.
Just before he comes, by the way, you guys, Muslims think they're the chosen people and they think they're better than everybody and think everyone else is going to hell.
But it's not race, it's based on belief.
We're not race either. We have black Jews, white Jews, Chinese Jews. So it's not racist. And we don't believe we're better than anybody. We believe that God gave 613 responsibilities. Okay? There were 7 responsibilities for all mankind. Abraham came and said, I want to take more responsibilities. And that's called the 613 commandments of Judaism. And any human being on planet Earth who says, you know what, I want more responsibility, could take on that responsibility. That's what we call conversion. If someone says, no, I don't want to keep Shabbat, I don't want to keep kosher, I'm good keeping the basic, fine. And guess what? According to the more you have to do, there's more reward. The less you have to do, less reward. It's not about races. You're not going to pay the guy who's the manager versus the guy who's just the worker, right? Not to use that example, but the guy, the manager has more responsibilities than the worker, right? They're not going to get paid the same. And same thing with the consequences, right? So I'm just...
So you're chosen with more responsibility. You are exalted above others.
It's not exalted above others. We have
guys,
we have more... God, it's not...
do you hear me?
Rabbi,
hello?
sorry, can I just quickly finish? Yeah, we hear you. Just quickly.
No, I just don't know if you see me. Okay, go ahead.
Can you remove the other? Can you remove the other? There's 2...
No, there's only one. I only see one. But wait, SNEAKO, what I'm saying is, it's not that God chose it. It's not that God said, Abraham, I love you, everyone else. No, Abraham chose God. Chosen people doesn't mean, oh, I'm better than it.
Abraham chose God?
Yeah, Abraham said in a world where everyone went against God.
He was searching for God every day of his life. What do you think?
Him, God came to him at a later age. He chose God to promote the idea of morality and ethics and the oneness of God and purpose of life. And because Abraham chose God, God gave his descendants...
No, God chose Abraham. God chose
Abraham after Abraham chose God and searched for God.
Exactly. And then once that happened, that's Abraham took that responsibility to be a light unto the nations. And God used his children, specifically the Jewish people, because God said in the Torah, your children...
So was it ultimately Abraham's decision or God's decision?
No, God, the Torah told us that God gave Abraham 10 tests, and the last one was to take his son to the Moriah mountain and sacrifice him. And only after he passed that test, God said to him, now I know you are a God-fearing person, and I'm going to make a covenant with you and your children and multiply your children. And the same covenant he made with Isaac, and the final covenant with Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, father, grandfather, son, and grandson. And Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And then God named himself the God of Israel and gave us the Torah after we came out of Egypt. 49 days after, we got the Torah in a public event in front of millions of witnesses. We are the only religion, yes, in Mount Sinai that started in front of millions of witnesses. And it's written in the book. All of you heard the voice of God speaking to me. Moses referring to the nation. I cannot fool you. You heard me speaking to God in front of you. And by the way, you should know one thing, which is very important for your future and for your listeners. When God said to Moses in a burning bush, I want you to go to Egypt and release my children out of slavery, Moses said, they won't believe in me. They will say to me that God never spoke to me. They won't believe me. And God said to him, of course they won't believe you. Why should they believe an individual who come tell a story with no witnesses? But after I will speak to you in front of them around the mountain, not only they will believe in you, they will believe in you for eternity. And that's exactly what happened. From here you learn that all religions that came after Judaism are all fake. For very simple proof. If God wanted to give another religion later on, he would make it in a public event. Why would he come to Muhammad in a desert with no witnesses, nobody saw it, and give him something, or come to Mary in a
That's not
dream?
true. There were witnesses. There were
No,
witnesses.
according to Islam, Muhammad was alone, and angel Jibril gave him the Quran.
And they transcribed it. And also, you said that he can't read or write. So if he wasn't able to read or write, how was he able to create this book? And how was he able to?
He told people
how was he able to transcribe this and be able to have this written? If he was exactly, so he was illiterate, but he was able to have this book delivered through him.
But we never saw a prophet that was ignorant, doesn't even know how to read and write, that ever God gave him a prophecy. It never happened before.
Not ignorant, but that actually proves that Islam is the true religion.
No, but the opposite. If God said to the Jews in the Torah, if God said to Moses, if I would come to you alone, not in front of them, of course they should not believe in you. The Torah has a solid rule. Everything must have a testimony of few people. You cannot come and tell a story and expect people to follow you based on your story.
Then why have the Talmud, which came, 1,300 years after the Torah? Why is this the only way to interpret the Torah?
Tell me, can you define to me what the Talmud is? What is the Talmud? What can you define to me what the Talmud is? I want to hear if you even know what the Talmud is.
It's the law that came to Moses.
Oh, so now the Talmud, the Talmud is the oral laws, because in a written Torah there are 613 commandments, but in none of them there are any instructions how to practice them. For instance, you have to observe the Sabbath. Anyone who would not observe the Sabbath subject to a death penalty, but it doesn't say nowhere in a book how to observe the Sabbath or to respect your parents. You have to respect your parents, but it doesn't say how to do it. What's considered respect, what's not. You have to circumcise your kids, but it doesn't say how, with what tool, who is allowed to do it, a man, a woman, a Jew, a non-Jew, in a day, in a night. What happened if the baby is sick and his brother died already? There's thousands of laws. All these laws were given to Moses. It's called the Oral Torah, and it's written in the written Torah. Do as I showed you in the mountain. From here, you learn that there were many.
In the mountain, not between the rabbis' discussions between themselves and God.
Again, now in the written Torah, it says that every dilemma and every doubt you have in any rules of the Torah, you have to ask the rabbis and do not move left or right. And if you disobey the rabbi, it's also that penalty. Now tell me, please. If God gave the Torah and he only gave the names of the commandments with no instructions how to keep it, how exactly all over the world the Jews keep the same commandments, even though there was no internet, no telephone, and they scattered all over the world?
That's not true. There's different Torahs from different languages, and it's been misinterpreted. Again, for 1,300 years, the Talmud didn't exist.
Different languages. Anyone can translate the Torah to any language they want, but we have only one Torah. For instance, you have many different Qurans with contradictions, with different names.
That's not true.
Absolutely.
That's not
years
true.
ago, they came and they combined all the Quran.
Google it.
Hold on.
I don't mind, but today I was told that it will be an hour. It's already an hour and 20 minutes. But I just want to conclude. I want just one thing. If you search for the truth, I need you to do one.
I am searching for the truth. So let's think about the inconsistencies.
So please. Only watch my film, Torah and Science. That's it. I'm not asking you anything.
We can have a discussion right now. We've been speaking 2v1. You brought somebody in. Let's speak about the inconsistencies.
After you will watch my film, Torah and Science, there would be no reason to discuss this ever again. So again, listen to me what I just said. Please go, Rabbi Mizrachi, Torah and Science.
Before you promo,
Rabbi,
we can't discuss.
I'm not, if your people wants to listen to me, they know where to find me, Instagram, YouTube, divineinformation.com.
You made a lot of claims about Islam. Let's clarify.
I'm not asking that. I'm only asking to watch Torah and Science and then come back to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate having me on your show.